Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. NFL Combine, well, everything's just about done, and with regard to what's happened, I don't know. Jump to your own conclusions. I mean, it's really funny. Joey Bosa, bad workout, bad weekend. Come on, dude. He just had a career that was ridiculous, okay? He's a great player. Get over it. As for the guys that ran fast, you see a Georgia running back running a ridiculous time. That's great, but what did he do at Georgia? I mean, again, I'm not trying to undervalue it, but you got to be very careful about your evaluations here.
Well, I think you have to balance what you see on tape or video and what you see in these measurables. A lot of what goes on is the things we don't see are the interviews where they're getting a chance to talk to these guys for 15 minutes and find out some things. That's going to make some decisions in a lot of cases of what they're going to do. And then, look, on the heels of this, you got pro days starting. Another chance if you do have a bad workout, you got a chance to redeem yourself at a pro day and in what can be more controlled conditions because you're in a friendly atmosphere back on your college campus in most cases. So
when Laquan Treadwell says, I'm not running, he makes a smart move because he's going to wait until his conditions where he's comfortable to run and give him the time because he's a great player. The only thing everybody questions is how fast he is, right?
Jerry Rice ran, 4.7,
exactly.
I think. So it does. That doesn't matter a whole lot. But again, run it in your conditions. What's interesting, though, is there was a trend moving away from doing certain things at the Combine. Now all the quarterbacks throw. Did Carson Wentz become possibly the number one pick in the draft? Is somebody going to go trade up and grab the number one pick from Tennessee to take Wentz? I don't know. There's so many things. We've got a long way to go. 2 months until the NFL draft at the end of April. So, it just gives us – look, the NFL's got it beautifully planned out. It's lots of fodder, and it's constantly being talked about all leading up to the draft, which is still 2 months away.
And the interview process important for guys like Kemdichi, perhaps more than other people, because he's got a lot of, as Ricky Ricardo used to say, he's got a lot of splaining to do.
Yes, he does. And there's, if you want to call it baggage, whatever it is, there's only so many picks you get, and there's only so many high picks you get. Can you risk, that type of pick, that high a pick on somebody who's got question marks? There's the injury factor too. You got the linebacker from Notre Dame. What do you do with? How do you treat him? I mean, he's a high first round talent when he's healthy, but they're talking about nerve damage in addition to the ACL and MCL possibly. So there's so many things in play, and again, like I say, just gives you and I and the rest of the people who do what we do something to talk about for the next 2 months.
And there's James Laurinaitis. Saints reportedly interested in him. Some people wondering why, but he's a guy that's been a productive player in the past. I'm not sure where he is at this stage of his career.
And it's interesting some of the moves that the Rams made. The Los Angeles Rams, I got to get in the habit of saying that, but making these moves before the cap, they weren't in real cap jeopardy, although perhaps they're trying to get something done here, right? Make a splash right away and free up some space and, get rid of some aging, what they might view as declining players, to get a little bit younger. And obviously they've got to be ready to make a big splash heading out to a new market.
Speaking of injuries, Anthony Davis missed a game against the Timberwolves, a toe injury that he came up with in pregame apparently, and they lost the game. They blew a lead and let it get away, and people questioning Davis's toughness. And I get it. He's had a lot of nagging type of injuries that have kept him out of games, and it's frustrating. At the same time, this is a game they never should have lost.
It's a game they should never have lost. Of course, if we'd have sat here when we talked about the weekend on Thursday, you'd probably been happy with 1-1. It's just not the way it went down, beating Oklahoma City and losing to Minnesota. So this is a key week, as I mentioned last week.
How many times are we going to say that?
Right, but I mean, this is a week that could truly get you right back there in the mix for the 8th spot, or take you just completely out of it, and we could start looking ahead to next year because you've got Houston and you've got Utah this week. Oh, by the way, you've also got San Antonio. So those are two huge gains because those are two teams battling for that 8th spot right in front of you.
He hedged his bets. He's starting to sound like Ricky Jackson. I mean, come on. Really, it's okay. College basketball, LSU won a game over Florida. It was a good win. How they won wasn't good, though. I mean, that was so painful to watch. a team that has an 18-point lead, totally dominating, and they barely survive. But it's how it happens, Lenny. They don't defend at all in the final minute, and they foul the team 4 times in the final minute with the lead. I mean, that's why people point to coaching. I mean, your basketball IQ, playing with the lead, fouling the opponent. How much sense does that make? Or should I say, no sense?
Yeah. Time and score. Yeah, I've watched enough, and you have watched enough basketball practices. Just about every one of them spends time. Okay, the green team or the white team is up by 2. There's 4 minutes left. Okay, here's the ball, play. Okay, and you just play out time and score situations, and that's how you get prepared for that. I don't have much of an answer to it. The good news is LSU did win the game. Maybe they're creeping back towards the bubble again. 2 regular season games left. They should beat Missouri. Okay, the key game is Saturday at Kentucky on Senior Day. Mm-hmm. If they can find a way to win that game, now all of a sudden I think you're talking about potentially, a team that's back maybe to the good side of the bubble, depending on what they do in the SEC tournament, which of course is all part of it. And LSU is really the only team at this point in Louisiana that has a chance to make the field of 68 on its own merit without just winning their conference tournament.
College baseball, LSU 2 of 3 over Sacramento State. Let one get away on Saturday. Tulane won 1 of 3 in the Tony Gwynn Classic. Southeastern 1 of 3 against Troy. Maybe the story of the weekend is UNO. They're 6-1 under new head coach Blake Dean. They swept Valparaiso. Regardless of competition, you have to be impressed. Daniel Martinez is saving everything. And, boy, they get a real litmus test at Lafayette against the Raging Cajuns Tuesday night.
They do, and I think other than UNO, I think you could really call this a disappointing weekend. Tulane would have ideally liked to have gotten 2 of 3 the way it played out. You lost a tough game late Saturday night to San Diego. Had to come back and play Sunday morning against Nebraska, and didn't play very well. A good win over Arizona because they kept battling. Arizona kept coming back at them. They kept adding on to the lead. They kept battling back. It was really an entertaining game. So. As for LSU, you can't explain letting that game get away on Saturday against Sacramento State. I know Paul Maneri talked to his team for quite a while after the game on Saturday. They bounced back and played really well on Sunday.
Yeah, important to do that, obviously. And then, of course, high school sports, congratulations. 5 local soccer teams winning state championships, boys and girls, over the weekend. All culminated with the 5A or Division I championships 5A. I mean, get used to it. It's only going to get more confusing. But the Division I championships on Saturday. A thrilling win for Mount Carmel in the final seconds over Byrd, and St. Paul's with their 3rd straight championship in Division I, just a dominant side.
Absolutely. Good. Congratulations to both of those schools and to all of the state champions. And, again, we mentioned it last week. This basically turned into the New Orleans Invitational based on the fact that you had some, upsets, if you will, quarterfinals, semifinals that kind of set the stage for this to happen. And, just a good 4 days of soccer out of Tad Gormley.
No doubt. And then, of course, high school baseball. And we've got some good stuff coming at you at SportsNOLA.com and WHNO.
Yep. The First NBC Bank Prep Showcase is back starting on Tuesday. We'll be at Kirsch Rooney for our opener of our 10-game schedule. John Ehret and Archbishop Rummel. You can watch it live 4 o'clock here at SportsNOLA.com. We'll have the re-air for you on WHNO Saturday at 6. It's a busy week. It's closing week of our original sports programming on WHNO, beginning Monday night with our season finale of SportsNOLA TV, 6 p.m.
You bet. We look forward to that. And, of course, we look forward to all the baseball games forthcoming. Don't forget the girls' basketball championships beginning in Hammond tomorrow on Tuesday and then running through Saturday. And the boys, of course, will take place the following week. So it's a busy time, but that's good for us. And it's good for you. Lenny, have a great week.
We'll see you later this week.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny, and I'm Kenny, and you're you, and have a great week, and God bless you.